I know. Wow, look what God did on day one. He started time, He created space, the universe. He made stuff, the earth, and He put it into space, and He created motion and energy or power. Well, maybe not that, maybe. Okay, that's power. Now, what did God do in day two? And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Well, the first day of Genesis, the first day of creation, was pretty easy to understand. But the second day has a firmament in it. Do any of you kids know what a firmament is? How about you? Can you tell me what a firmament is?
No.
Do you know what a firmament is?
Mm-mm.
How about any of you adults out there? Can you explain to us what a firmament is? The guy that God chose to write this part of the Bible decided to use the Hebrew word rakia to describe what we call firmament. There's a lot of argument about that word rakia, sometimes by Christians and sometimes by people who don't even believe in God. Now, rakia comes from a couple of different Hebrew words. One of them is a word meaning to beat out metal and make it flat. And the other one is a word meaning support or to hold something up. Beating out something flat and holding something up. Now this is a bowl made out of brass. Someone beat the metal until it was flat, and then they kept beating on it until it curved into a round bowl. Now flip the bowl over. If you put something on top of it, it would hold it up. It would support it. And that's what the word rakia means. Sort of like this bowl. A long time ago, people thought the firmament was a dome. Here's a dome down near the South Pole. But people thought the firmament was a dome over the whole earth. And the sun and the stars and the moon were all hanging from this dome. So for right now, let's just think about the firmament as a dome, like this bowl. Did God tell you how He built the universe? Did He tell you He used a hammer and nails? Maybe He had to light a fire or use a blowtorch? No, He didn't tell us that stuff because it's not important for us to know. God wants us to know the important stuff, like belief in Jesus for our salvation. But stuff like firmament, it's just not that important for us to know. Okay, let's make it easy. Let's just say the firmament is the sky. If you were an astronaut and you took your spaceship and flew it far away from the Earth and turned around, you could see the Earth sort of like this. This is the way the Earth looks today. You notice that it's full of water? Now in this picture we don't see any water out in space. But we know if we were down there standing on the Earth, we could look up in the sky and see the clouds, and we know there's water in the clouds because that's where the rain comes from. We also know the sky is full of chemicals. Some of this might be water, and God can put it wherever He wants. If God said He divided the waters, and there's water below and there's water above, I believe it. Now see this part between the water on the earth and the water that's up in the sky? That part's the firmament. That's the sky. We really don't know how big it is, though. Let's take a look at verse 7. Thus God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Okay, that sounds pretty much the same as verse 6. Water on the bottom, then the firmament on top of that, and then more water on top of the firmament. No, not that. We need to talk some more about this firmament business. God doesn't explain it to us. Maybe he wants to keep it a mystery. It could be the sky where the clouds are, and the clouds are where the water is. But then it could be this picture that I showed you with the earth with some circle of water around it. Or it could be at the end of the universe, at the end of all the stars. We don't know because God does not explain it. When God doesn't explain it to us, we don't have to know it. God knows everything. We don't have to. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. There's something new to learn here. It's the word heaven. Now we know that this part of the Bible is written in the Hebrew language. And there are 3 words for heaven in the Hebrew language. The first word, Shamayim, is a Hebrew word. It can mean heaven or sky. The second word is Shamayim. It's a Chaldean word. A lot of the Hebrew language comes from Chaldee. That's where Abraham came from. So naturally, Shamayim means the same as Shamayim. And Shachak, the third word, is also a Hebrew word, and it also means heaven or sky. So how do we know if these words mean sky, or space, the universe, or the heaven where God lives? In the first verse of the Bible, where God created the heavens and the earth, it was easy to understand that it meant the whole universe. But verse 8 is a little tricky to understand. We're not sure whether it means the whole universe or the sky. Later on, when we get to verse 15, we're going to find out that this firmament, this heaven, means the whole universe. Well, that means this picture's no good anymore. The end of the firmament has to be a lot farther away from Earth than this picture. We'd have to get a lot farther away from Earth than that, but we're not going to. Let's get back to our last verse. So the evening and the morning were the second day. And finally we come to the end of the second day of creation. But this is still not the end, because there are 4 more creation days left.